Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Alfonso Ramadan. My student name is 21240901117. Today I would like to presenting about benefits of social media networking service use and future directions. The first one of benefits of social networking service use is media literacy. Today, online and network media environment requires a more complex digital or web literacy that is often not acceptably so in school. This environment requires that young people develop new skills to participate and stay safe in the new digital media environment. Consequently, there are a number of components to online media literacy. The component of the media literacy is technical literacy, critical content literacy, communicative and social networking literacy, creative content and visual literacy, and the last is mobile media literacy. Education. The second is education. Access to SNS varies according to state and educational level, with some states banning access to SNS and social media, although as a result, the impact of SNS is less felt by young people's formal education, but now the use of SNS has been updated and expanded. Studies conducted in workplace on the role of ICT in learning and development. The first one is as a setting for sharing content and creating or maintaining relationship. Young people in particular value social and interactive opportunities of learning, and the technology is a particularly useful to workplace learning due to regular accessibility. Access to virtual or online communities is more important than the physical education environment. Online forum and SNS can support the communication and extension of learning and discussion outside formal classroom setting. The SNS also used in informal education such as business purpose so it can be conducted. The existence of SNS provide many benefits for everyone, but SNS will always be updated, so we have to study it. The third is creativity. Creative content sharing participates such as blog animation, videos, photos, and digital content from increasingly integral part of young people's communicative exchange and play a significant role in young people's developing sense of identity and community. Creative content production and sharing empowers individual young people through the following demonstrate benefits. The bene- what the kind of benefit is fostering, developing, encouraging, and reinforcing the production and exchange of creative content have a positive impact for young people, like they can build strong community, increase creativity and order. The fourth is individual identity and self-expression. SNS are increasingly important for the expression of identity. This articulation is not merely narcissistic but supports critical peer-based social. SNS can also reinforce part of their identity, such as ethnicity or cultural background, particularly important for young people with chronic illness, newly arrived migrants, and minority ethnic groups. Such process of socialization are essential for psychology development at a time when many young people are considering their identities, pulling up roots from their families, striving for independence, and developing new type relationships, including intimate ones. Strengthening social relationships. Strengthening existing relationship with SNS young people can strengthening and development social relationship. Developing new interpersonal relationship. SNS also help young people who suffer chronic illness and disability to find true friends. They who aren't lucky can meet people who are just like them. The last is convergence of online and offline space. Young people not only consider their online and online worlds as one, but actually combine the two in a physical and temporal sense. It includes that social inclusion can be successful if it's combined online and face-to-face networking. The sixth is sense of belonging and collective identities. SNS play a significant role in the information of new forms of collective identity. This sense of belonging and acceptance can mean that young people who may be more vulnerable to isolation, such as those with chronic illness or a disability, often remains member of an online community long after their initial impetus is gone. Content sharing plays a major role in cultivating belonging and a sense of collective identity. Sharing written, visual, or audio content on SNS that represent or portrays an individual or community experience invites others to engage and relate. Okay, the seventh is strengthening and building communities. SNS can facilitate a sense of connectedness, community, and belonging where users can express their feeling and also people be responsive to each other that can build community. The eighth is civic and political participation. SNS constitutes new space for civic engagement and political participation, where political candidates are increasingly utilizing SNS and social media. SNS are being used for discussion, organization, and mobilization as part of emerging political discourse in young people's every life. The last is well-being. SNS functionally has a key role to play in strengthening social connectedness, self-efficiency, efficacy, general knowledge, and life skills, and is critical for promotion of young people's overall mental health and well-being. Alright, and the future direction, social networking service (SNS) are significant players in the Web 2.0 environment, transforming communication, practice, opening new space and process of socialization, and impacting upon traditional social structures. These effects are particularly relevant for the most frequent user of SNS is young people. This new environment poses certain challenges, and like any setting for social interaction has some inherent risks. Many of the risks of online interaction, such as cyberbullying, privacy breaches, and predation, can be minimized. Strategies to this end must be underpinned by best practice evidence, and more research should be undertaken to ensure that emerging participates emerging practice and effects of SNS are understood and responded to. Uh, okay, thank you everyone for your attention. Hopefully, can be useful for you. And also again, thank you if my English is not so good.